Looks like it is. All right. Hello, weirdos. It's Friday night, or I guess Saturday morning or afternoon for some of you who are outside the realm of North America. Welcome to a day. Well, there you have it. Absolutely just effed in the A. And dog hair is still fucking everywhere. Yeah, so as we all know, Ryan Cohen sold every scrap of big Bed Bath & Beyond he had, including all of his options. The news of that crashed this price big time. And still, dog hair everywhere. Just ruining everything, you hairy beast. And it appears that Ryan Cohen is out. But minutes before Ryan Cohen began selling his shares, an announcement was made by the Bed Bath & Beyond board about some sort of deal had been reached with Ryan Cohen Ventures. There's lots of speculation. There's talk about that since Ryan Cohen had become an insider, that a huge portion of his sale, due to short swing profit rules or laws, would go back to Bed Bath & Beyond and net them, tens of millions of dollars. There's still argumentation about whether he would be considered the type of insider who would have to do that. But the main speculation, I think, is surrounding that he may have struck a deal to procure either a lot of shares or majority ownership or something of Bed Bath & Beyond's very lucrative, growing subsidiary Baby, which has been double-digit growth, $1.2 billion a year in sales, and theoretically could be worth more than all of Bed Bath & Beyond together. And that him selling shares, giving it relinquishing control to Bed Bath & Beyond, is an attempt to acquire, or an agreement to acquire Baby. Now, the speculation goes further to suggest that the announcement that's coming at the end of this month in relation to this agreement is that those who own Bed Bath & Beyond shares will get shares in Baby. It'll spin off, and then Ryan Cohen will be the largest shareholder in that group. But we've got to wait for that announcement. And at the moment, my Bed Bath & Beyond calls are in the toilet. So they're so bad right now that I may as well keep them and just see if this announcement causes craziness. There still is the threshold list. The T13 is on September 2nd, I believe. And that would, that's when all this forced buying has to happen. Because, 900 million shares traded between Monday and Thursday. I don't even know what the volume was today. I think the volume was probably just people crying. Let's go. Scrolly. So still 136 million shares. So they did 1.3, more or less, billion shares. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, 1.3 billion shares were sold. That's nuts. This week. There's not even close to that many shares in existence. So the threshold list, T13, buy or else date, starting on the 2nd, may result in some huge price action still. But at the moment, we're just going to have ourselves a wallow. Pay some respects to the call options that I stupidly bought and lost so much on between close yesterday and open this morning. But if it is going to rocket, and there is some sort of deal for Baby, which could result in financially securing, cash, collateral, something out of Ryan Cohen that would save Bed Bath & Beyond, have them avoid restructuring or whatever else they have to do. It'd be a real kick to the teeth to the shorts. So, I don't know. May pick up, now that calls are much, much cheaper, I might go for some more. I don't know. But man. Roof. Ugh. All right, and off. That's an entire week. I've remembered to turn it off. Bong! The dogs are just boning here on the floor, enjoying some delicious, I'm not sure what the heck kind of bones they are. They look like they're plastic. They probably taste like beef. I don't know, they're loving them. But someone sent me the P.O. box, and they like them. Scott, Emily, Houston, any theories on what RC is up to with the BBBY sale? Man, so there's basically three possibilities. One, Cohen sold, and he's like, eat a dick, everybody. And he's out and he's done. He made his, $30 million, whatever he made off of that. He's a billionaire. Why would he make $30 million? Two, he sold, killed a whole bunch of short hedge funds that had gone long on options on Bed Bath & Beyond that were due today, and absolutely just murdered them. And you saw an emergency bond offering by Citadel of $600 million today. Susquehanna had a pile of options that were in the money earlier this week that are not now, that expired out of the money, and then he murdered them, and then he's going to start buying back in at half the price that he paid for originally. So basically, essentially a wash sale. 3 has to do with the spin-off of Baby, and that's what Ryan Cohen sees the value in Bed Bath & Beyond, is he's going to take that little baby and nurture it and blossom it into a startup. That's essentially what it is. And a startup with $1.2 billion in revenue is very appealing to a lot of folks. That's probably those three options. I can't really think of what a fourth option would be, unless some of you have fourth option ideas on hand. But yeah, one of those three. I doubt it's the FU. I'm out. Simply because, I am no psychologist, but if I were asked to do like an FBI level psychology profile of Ryan Cohen, I would think that while he's made a killing as a business leader and a trader, that he desires more to be a legend than anything else. Like, there's sociopaths who are like, I just want the money, I do not care about anyone else. And that's like your Barton Skrellies, who, the minute they get out of prison, do a rug pull crypto offering. Like, they don't care about you at all. They see you as a mark and a putz and whatever else. Ryan Cohen, on the other hand, just seems like somebody who likes to plot and plan and has something set up a long ways away, and he's like, I'm going to get to this goal, and we're going to do all these twists and turns, like some sort of weird story arc, and then blammo, M. Night Shyamalan, what the twist at the end. That's what I think he's going for. Yeah. Yeah. So, take that what you will, man. Life's weird. Anyway, it's Friday. We can get weird while we're depressing looking at our meager little accounts that have shrunk by 90% in a week. Okay. Iggy Limon. Houston, happy birthday. On a scale of peaceful to waiting for Comcast, how much will you miss Big Dog? Big Dog, I won't miss you in the least. No, I won't. I won't at all. You're going to be back with your mom. Then Monkey Butt and I are going to be able to enjoy our lives. Yay! Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Uh-huh. Yep. Oh, yes. Yes, we won't have barking anymore because Monkey Butt doesn't bark. We don't have to worry about that. No more barking. No more you trying to murder people or other dogs. Yeah. No more escaping to murder other dogs. Oh, it'll be wonderful. It'll be wonderful. Yes, and you are going to hate every moment of it because I don't think you actually like living over there. But Monkey Butt and I will take a road trip, something we have not been able to do this summer. And we're going somewhere. We're going to go camp in the woods or something. Okay. Unpaid overtime. Where are you investing $500 next week? The implied volatility can drop on Bed Bath & Beyond for a couple of days. My YOLO, baby. Thou liveth only once. On some Bed Bath & Beyond calls. Because I think September it will rip regardless of the sentiment everyone has about how much they got boned. Threshold list, huge amounts of trades. We're talking 1 billion shares flew around this week alone. I think things can get weird. I think they can get real weird real quick. And there's I think there's one in the chamber that Bed Bath & Beyond and Ryan Cohen have racked in there, and I think they're going to do something, and they're going to make an announcement, and everyone's going to go, "Oh my gosh!" And that's my feeling. That's my gut. That's all I have is my gut feeling on this. But it does predicate upon my assessment that Ryan Cohen wants to be seen as a legend, and if I'm wrong about that, then you know what? The $325 I put in my options account in March that I managed to blossom and have now shrunk to very little may go back to those $325 that I started with back in March. So, what we're going to do, just sit here and go, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay. Bullish on Houston's second intro. Happy birthday, HW. Hey, I've been trying to make sense in the RC move aside from thinking he's just sneaky like that. Thankfully, I made some profit, and I gotta go from seeing huge profit to taking profits. Yeah, I mean, some people got to take some profits. I did not. I took giant losses at the moment. You can still, but man, woof. Jason Blackwell, Houston. If BBBY does something fantastic with Bye Bye Baby, would it only benefit shareholders, or would options also run up? If it's a split off, like you're making two separate companies and the options represent basically shares from the two companies, anything that's been authorized prior to the announcement, or the date of record or whatever, then options can go nuts, right? Because you'll have threshold list, an emerging new company. It might go bonkers. But if it doesn't, then, womp womp. Okay, Drew saw BBBY spins off Bye Bye Baby, and RC takes ownership through RC Ventures. Do you see a synergy with GME, or will it be its own spin-off company? At first I thought BBBY, and GME was great Amazon 2.0. That may have been where Ryan Cohen was going. Is he's like, look, we've got essentially warehouse-sized stores all over North America. We can, make a hell of an impact on the internet, and we can, change this whole brick and mortar system. And I think the board at Bed Bath & Beyond were just too toxic. He got a couple of his insiders in there, his buddies on there, to help try and change the culture. But I think that they were just too poisoned, and now that they're facing insolvency due to lack of capital, I think they had to do whatever Ryan Cohen wanted at this point. And so whatever agreement that they made, that's that. I mean, have you guys seen the agreement announcement? The announcement of the announcement? It's 8K? March 7th, 8/14. Form 3, is this the one? No, not the Form 3. Maybe it was 8K. 8K. March 7th. March 7th. 2 days ago. Alright. Where is the 8K? Sorry, one sec while I... There we go. Okay. Bing. Bing, bong, bloop. Okay, so here it is. This is on the Bed Bath & Beyond website. I'll copy, paste, throw that into the chat. All right, so basically they said August 17th, 2022, in response to certain media inquiries, Bed Bath & Beyond Incorporated, the company, made the following statement. We are pleased to have reached a constructive agreement with RC Ventures in March and are committed to maximizing value for all shareholders. We are continuing to execute our priorities to enhance liquidity, make strategic changes, and improve operations to win back customers and drive cost efficiencies, all to restore our company to its heritage as the best destination for home for all stakeholders. Specifically, we have been working expeditiously over the past several weeks with external financial advisors and lenders, strengthening our balance sheet, and the company will provide more information and an update at the end of the month. That's the important one. So, they're talking about a deal they struck with Ryan Cohen in March. They're doing it the day after Ryan Cohen began selling, and the day that his selling was, or his 144 form was released to the public. So there's something coming up between Ryan Cohen and Bed Bath & Beyond that's going to be, it's an announcement of an announcement, and there we sit and wait. Yeah. So Gustavo, keep the most bated breath, baby. Here we are. Here we sit. We're waiting. There's 15 more days in the month. 2 more weeks. Where do we go? No, sorry, not 15 more days. I totally lied. 12 more days. I can't do math. 12 more days in the month. Yeah, so less than 2 weeks. Let's do this. All right. Joshua Jimmy, I sold my BBBY calls, made a whopping $450 at 26 cents, and proceeded to watch as it went to $2.16. That happens sometimes. Sometimes you get 50 Bed Bath & Beyond calls for $9.50, and you sell them, and you swap them into AMC calls for the following Monday, because you think, oh, it's a data record, price will go up, and the price doesn't go up. And your AMC calls go, and then you watch your $9.50 calls peak on Wednesday at $102,000. That was what I missed out on. Oh, man. Oh, well. Such is life. All you can do is shake your head. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? A whole bunch of coulda, woulda, shouldas. That is so much of the trading life, is that every once in a while, you hit it big. Most of the time you go, oh, I'm so stupid. So, yeah. C'est la vie. That's right. C'est la vie. All you can do is go, hey, I started $325. That's all I had. That's what I put in there. And I built it, and I built it, and I built it, and I built it, and I went, woohoo! YOLO! And that's it. So, my humble beginnings. Just eating that shit-covered humble pie. Nom, 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 nom. Okay. Neil Welch, love the show. Happy birthday. My chat with TD tonight regarding APE was bizarre, and the rep I talked to was over it. Said it was call after call after call about APE. Still not sure when it's coming. Monday morning. Well, you should receive it in your account between close today and Monday morning before open. And then we watch that fireworks happen. Just coming at us. So it's like inundating us with news and information, and it's overload, man. It's overload. All right. Drew Saul, he did it right. Way to go, Drew. I did not do it right. So, oops. Use BBB calls to fund some more GME. That was my goal, but I was going to try one more step. Just one more. I got greedy, and then shablam. Howler, Houston, come to Dartmouth and have beers with me. Well, I'll come to Dartmouth, and I'll have Coca-Cola, because I'm a square. It's a guy from Guy from my sister's class in high school went to Dartmouth and was a basketball stud there. Jamie Halligan. Took them to, wait, which Dartmouth is this? Is this Dartmouth, England? Dartmouth University. Dartmouth University, if we're talking about that, then Jamie Halligan took them to the NCAAs quite a few times back in the 90s. Dartmouth, UK. I don't know shit about Dartmouth, UK. But yeah, why not? Why not go couch surf around the world with you guys? Sadboy Incorporated Houston, thoughts on becoming a YouTuber. I have 4.5 thousand subs, but I don't know what I should upload. That's why I do live streams. Because the whole like recording something, uploading, that took so much time and energy and writing, and it was really time consuming. Live, I just go boop, and as long as I have like an hour or two, I can block out. Then I can chit chat with you guys, talk about the news, learn things from you folks. Holy crap, do I learn a lot from you guys? I get so much information from you. But I mean, I tripped and fell into this. I was not expecting to ever have a YouTube presence in any way, shape, or form, and I had 5,000 subscribers before I ever made a video. The only thing I'd really ever posted to YouTube, and they're all private videos, are my lectures from during COVID. I had to like record all these lectures in my garage for astronomy and intro to physics, and that's what I use YouTube for. I think there's like a video of a woman drove by in a van again, and I managed to stop her and get her out because the fuel line was breaking and just dumping flames everywhere, and the thing caught on fire. So I filmed the fire and the trucks coming and dousing that, and then I had to put a couple of footage up there so that they could, when editing the sizzle reel, they had some video of it, of like gems that they could add in there. But actually, that's kind of it. That's one thing I've really used it for. And then I did a couple of interviews last year, and people were like, "Hey, do your own podcast." And I was like, "All right, what else am I gonna do? Right, Big Doug? What else am I gonna do?" Man, you're like 3 feet away from me, and your breath is still so warm on my leg. That's impressive. You're like just 2 giant lungs with fur. All right, but man, sad boy, 4.5 thousand subs. I don't know. Be weird. Do weird shit. People like that. John Castro, so why did RC sell 3 weeks shy of the expiration of the swing trade rule? That's the question everyone's been asking. And some people are saying that because he became an insider not through purchasing of his shares, but it was because Bed Bath & Beyond did a little bit of buyback, and he ended up as like an 11% shareholder as a result, that the swing trade rule doesn't affect him. And then other people are saying, no. He must have some sort of agreement with Bed Bath & Beyond, became an insider another way. And the swing trade does affect him. So, if he gets his money back from his trade and manages to fund Bed Bath & Beyond with anywhere from $18 to $50 million or whatever it is that he sold those shares for, and has opportunity to perhaps buy back in at half the price as a result now, because he bought in most of his shares like $20, and now the price is $9.70. So, I mean, it seems like a great way to really screw over a whole bunch of hedge funds that had jumped into the game late and leave them holding the bag going into a Friday, where it's going to be really hard to dump those calls that were all expiring today, because all those monthlies, so many monthlies. And I think Ryan Cohen's move crashed the entire market today. You saw huge drops in crypto, huge drops. Once the pre-market opened, I mean, everything except for Foot Locker and GM were in the toilet, because both Foot Locker and GM made fantastic earnings reports. Everyone else was down 2, 5, 10% and just hurting, and the SPY went beep. I think he really put the hurt on these dudes. I mean, he put the hurt on me as well. That sucks. And probably a lot of you too. But in the long run, those short hedge funds, I think, really took it in the butt. And they're not sitting pretty right now. They've already had some of them 65%, 68% losses. And now they're like, oh, finally gonna get a win on these Bed Bath & Beyond calls. Womp womp. And now they're desperately trying to dump them off on people. And then Ryan Cohen makes some sort of announcement next week with Bed Bath & Beyond about, you know, oh, it was all a trick. And then the price goes, and those dudes miss out because they all went into puts instead. It's going to be wild. It's going to be really wild. Aaron Salentine got screwed as well. Yeah. So you got short position, 100 shares. If it goes to $5, I'll close my short. There you go. Yeah. Well, you know, it might go to $5. It was went to 10 after hours yesterday. It hit 11 at one point today and is now at like 9.7 after hours. So I don't know what Monday's going to hold. I think a lot of trading floor folks were just in shock this morning and they're like, I don't know what to do. First name, last name, Houston. My wife wants to know if the music to your late intro is from George Michael's Careless Whisper. Yes, it is. Try to tell her that it would be a copyright issue. Result, it's not a copyright issue if you mess with it. Like my booty video, Find Houston's Booty. That was a mashup of, I think, Under the Sea and Booty, 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 Booty. And if you mix those two, it becomes a remix and is no longer subject to YouTube's draconian rights violations. So, because it's a remix that Scott did, it flies under the radar, and I don't get busted for it. Brandon T. Houston. If Sears ends up with a nice dividend, won't hedge funds drive up the price as hard as they try to close so they aren't stuck having to pay the dividend? Assuming lots of naked Sears shares. Sears shares. Ugh. Sears shares. Yeah. I mean, there's probably so many Sears shares out there. Just an infinite number. Because I mean, they shored that sucker down to what was the lowest? Like a penny? That's what they took it to after it went into that expert only market. Yeah. And if that dividend's anywhere from the $5 to $17 as it could be, you know, depending on commercial real estate prices and what holdings they still have, that still is hundreds of times higher than the current price of Sears. So yeah, that would screw them big time. The hair is kind of Martin Shkreli. Ah, no, the hair is Houston. Martin Shkreli is trying to be me. First name, last name, Houston. How is hail formed and how does it stay suspended in the atmosphere? Crazy winds. The largest hailstone ever recorded, I think, is 14 inches across. It's about yay. And it would take an updraft wind of over 600 miles an hour to suspend that thing. So what happens is there's all sorts of crazy thermals that happen inside these hail clouds because you've got a whole bunch of air rising really quickly, and it's rising and it's condensing and it's forming rain. And sometimes it's rising so fast it's going through the freezing zone, and you get ice pellets form. And it falls down because gravity. Whee! And as it falls through a bunch of raindrops that also collect on it. And then an updraft comes and blows it back up. So it does this like up-down cycle. And they can do it a whole bunch of times, collecting more and more and more and more condensation and getting larger and larger and larger. So if you get a large enough chunk of hail, you can actually saw it in half and see the rings inside of it like a tree trunk to know how many times it's gone up and down inside that big cumulonimbus cloud. Now, it's hard to imagine like a 600 mile an hour wind because even tornadoes and category 5 super hurricanes and stuff, we've never seen winds like that. But mathematically speaking, the only way it could keep something the size of a bowling ball suspended to go through an updraft to collect more ice that's 14 inches across would be with a 600 mile an hour wind. And that is mind-blowing that while we've never measured it specifically with an instrument, we can do it indirectly by the size of hailstones. And it's just crazy. Where is the largest hailstone? I mean, it may have been bigger since then, but when I was a kid, it was 14 inches. Hailstone. 1986, so it was in the 80s. 2.25 pounds. Fell in Bangladesh. South Dakota, July 23rd. U.S. record. 1.67 pounds, 7 inches across. 2022, one in South Dakota, 20.3 centimeters. Okay, so South Dakota seems to be racking up some records here. World's largest hail record may be challenged. This is 2020. Another 8 inch. So I guess 8 inches. So I was thinking maybe 7 inches in radius is what I was thinking. So 7 inches. So smaller than I thought. But 17 inch circumference. 8 inches diameter in South Dakota, 2021. Yeah. I mean, just imagine getting hit with an 8-inch rock from outer space. Like, yeah, that's nuts. That is nuts. Images. Potential record-breaking hit. That thing looks monstrous. Okay. Look at that thing. This is the potential record breaker from South Texas. Yeah. That's wild. There's another one. Hailstone. It's one from South Dakota. Jesus. That's nuts. Look at the size of those things. These ones look like little fortresses of solitude. 5 largest hailstones. Just bonkers, man. I mean, you have to get a new roof if that falls anywhere near you. Wow. Wow. Okay. Michael McMinison, I got 2 $30 calls for $9.23 for Bed Bath & Beyond. Might as well hold them. Exactly. I've got 8 $30 calls. They are not worth what they used to be, baby. But, you know, price goes up, they go back. Right? Ooh, we'll have new stickers made featuring After Dark intro. That might be a good idea. I still have, I don't know, maybe 25 left, which I've been forgetting to do the plug reminder for all of you. Send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the P.O. box below, and self-addressed stamped envelope, and I send you a sticker. Easy as that. I have one I got to send. I forgot to go to the post office box this week, so the post office lady is probably like, Houston, you are late again. And I apologize, post office lady. I apologize. I'll try to come and collect all the shit and weird crap that you guys send me. Sponges and other weird things that come in the mail. James Heb. Interesting how much institutional exposure Bed Bath & Beyond had during the run-up. Part of RC's plan to screw them. Shame retail got stuck with a bag, though. Yeah. Like, yay that they're ruined. Boo that I'm ruined. I was all like, boy, this sucker's gonna rock it. Yee-hoo! And, womp womp. But that's the life. That's the life we live. Living on the edge. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's the rule. J-Dog, go Mariners. Go Mariners indeed. Go Mariners. Okay. Oh, where did I... Oh, before you're stupid, I missed yours. I'm sorry. I missed your thing. Now I know they call him Papa Cohen. I haven't gotten a spanking like that since my old man used to take his day out of me. Oh, aye, Poppy. Man. I mean, seriously, it's a good thing I got this new comfortable chair. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be able to be sitting right now. Okay, where was I before I got my thing? ADHD option trading with Houston Wade. Yeah. There's so many things. I want them all. I do want them all. That's the problem. No love for the big dog. Never any love for the big dog, huh? No. You're just a big goober. Yes, you are. That's okay. You just you just sleep. You don't need to come here. And just put your breath on me. There we go. Yeah, so much air. You guys get this? Just yeah. You were. Where was I? Is the AMC squeeze over? No. No, they will hammer AMC down probably for the next few weeks until the T35s come due for all the trading that happened from the APE announcement through the dividend. And that will result in some bumps. But the craziest will happen at the 3-month mark, the T plus 90 on the APE shares themselves. If people don't sell, and they only accumulate more apes, then they're in a crazy buy and hold situation because there is no options chain. There is no ability to basically create them out of thin air because there's a T plus 0 settlement. So it must be settled. You must have it in hand to hand over during a sale. Otherwise, it can't be sold. So I think the T plus 90 on it might be pretty crazy unless AMC dumps the other 4.5 billion of those things all of a sudden. I don't think they have enough to do that. I think they authorized 1 billion this round, 500 million for the shareholders, and possibly another 500 million to sell if the price stays high, which would be probably might be enough to clear all their debt. But yeah, it's gonna be. We got fireworks. We got fireworks all through this fall to look at. It's gonna be just one after another, and we've got the combination now of these like weird Chinese companies doing IPOs that are the strangest setup squeezes, and people keep falling for it. And I don't know, Evergrande is valued at a penny now. The largest real estate developer in China is worth 1 cent. It's gonna get weird, right, big dog? It's gonna get real weird. Yeah. Yeah, you breathe it. You just have so much air, just pushing, just stinky dog breath all over me. Yeah. Oh, you're so happy to do it. Yes, you are. Okay. Howler, do you like Lex Fridman podcast? I don't know who that is, so I can't answer if I like it or not. Sorry. So I don't know. I've never heard of him. Pacific Northwest Texas, if everyone does get their apes, does that mean there is no synthetic shares? No, because the brokers still have the power to put synthetics into your account and then put a T90 clock on those who force them to put those synthetics in there. Ideally, they wouldn't. They'd just be like, you owe now, go buy now. But I think they give everybody that T90 leeway for something like this happening. Frozen State Productions, happy birthday, Houston. Space travel, how do astronauts stay clean, not smelly? Showers seem to be out of the question. Sponge baths. Simple as that. That's how you do it. You poop through a suction hose and you sponge bath yourself. Right, big dog? Or you can just do like a cat, I guess. But then you just smell like spit. DS38 like shut down Houston. Hey, it's Friday. It's after 10:30 my time. There's 300 of you hanging out with me, which, you could be watching The Daily Show or something, I guess, on whatever time things come on. Sin Yang, if AMC doesn't run after the divvy, is it better to go all in on Jimmy? Again, it's going to take time. You got those 3 months. 3 months for the T plus 90 to kick in. And Big Dog will tell you 3 months for T plus 90, right? Yeah, there you go. So that's there could be all sorts of craziness that happen between now and then, but the craziness should be at that T plus 90, when all those institutions and hedge funds and those that created all the synthetics over the past 10 years are going to have to face the music and figure out how to get apes, or else face liquidation, forced liquidation. Thoughts on Blackberry? I mean, from what I heard, they're shorted. Right? I remember when they were researching motion, when our friend Nate had a rim job. Yeah. Working on that database. Researching motion at his rim job. J. King, Houston, is there a rule if he sells before a certain date he has to give half of it back to Bed Bath & Beyond? That's the supposition. That's what people were thinking is the case, is that he sold specifically so that most of his shares would qualify for the short swing profit rule. But we'll have to see if that's the case. If that's what happened. I'm not actually entirely 100% sure or not. Okay. Sorry. People sending me messages, and now I'm curious what they have to say. Okay. Andrew Dell, morning, Houston. I received an email from my broker, Hargreaves Lansdowne, informing me I won't get the APE till Friday the 25th. Any Great Britain investors have the same crap. Interesting. Someone was messaging me about their account in the UK that they weren't going to be getting it, period. And that instead, that was just going to be it. And he's like, wait a minute, you can't do that because the price of the share itself drops. So basically, you're just taking money out of my account. And they're like, it does? He's like, yeah, that's why it splits and the value is split between them. So if it splits and I don't get the APE share, the value just drops. So you're going to give me twice as many AMC? And they're like, no. He's like, so then what are you going to do about the fact that you're going to cost me a bunch of money? And they're like, we didn't think about that. Who was it? If you're in here, I can't remember which broker it was in the UK that was telling them that. I get so many DMs from you guys during the day. It's hard to keep track of who sent me what. Yeah. Daphne, Houston, is Snoopy your sister that lives in San Francisco's dog? It'll be a trip to meet Snoopy in person. No, and my San Francisco sister just moved back up here. No, it's my sister who lives over on the Seattle side. She's the one that went active duty for 6 months, and she's been stuck like roasting in Dallas, where it's been apparently like 120 degrees for 5 months now, and she's just, I think she's a raisin as a result, as are most people who probably are in that weather. Motherfucking kidding, better have my money. Daddy0357, Houston, have you ever read This One Mad Act by Isola Forrester? If not, would you like to? I have not read it. Sure. Lay it on me. This One Mad Act. Where did my notebook go? I lost my notebook. Notebook, where are you? Where's my notebook? Oh, I think I may have taken my cheat sheet notebook and transcribed, because people sent me books, and then I bought the books, and I don't know what I did in my notebook, so I don't know what I'm going to write on now that I'm on my notebook. Maybe I'll write on this piece of paper that I'll totally be like, what the hell is this all about? What's it called? Wait. Wrong pen. This cat pen. The Squamp's cat pen. It's got a little kitty. Where was it? this one mad act. This one mad act. Okay. On the list. On the list. Pit Lolly Growler. How many total apes are there going to be on top of the ones we're going to get? Everyone who has an ape will get an ape. Or everyone has AMC apparently will get an ape. So there'll be 516 million and change apes given out. There'll be another 484 million apes that AMC reserves the right to sell, apparently. Whether they will or won't, that's up for debate. I would hope that they wait until at least the T+90 date before offering to sell them. The price is $10, right? And they could sell those 484 million of those things and basically pay off all of their debt, which would be great news for AMC as a company coming into this year with as many blockbusters as they've had and doing as well in sales. And the fact that, you know, I don't know if you guys saw Regal Cine. What's the British name for it? Regal Cinemas guys, the Cinetown, Cine whatever. They're apparently declaring bankruptcy. Their stock price is down to like 1 pence on the London Exchange. And they're the second biggest theater chain in the world, and they are not doing well. And they're complaining there's not enough blockbusters. And like, wait, there's been more blockbusters this year than any year in like a decade. What are you talking about? There's not enough blockbusters. So, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. But obviously they aren't doing it right. Guitar stuff. Why are internet ads so bad? I get ads for things I am not interested in. Events on the other side of the country, etc. Facebook is the worst, but other platforms too. The worst ad marketing I ever had was when I had the Hulu ad-based version. And I would get, I'd be, you know, marathoning a show, just staring at my tablet, laying in bed, watching a show, and the ad, time after time after time after time, for like hours on end, on repeat, would be for the Diva Cup. And I don't know what marketing genius was like, you know what? We are going to pick men between 18 and 40, and we're going to make sure they get a whole bunch of Diva Cup ads because that is our target demographic. And seriously, 200 times during a binge watching session, I have to watch a Diva Cup ad on my Hulu. And it was actually what drove me to like buy, just get the whole paid for Hulu with no commercials. I was like, I just can't watch another Diva Cup ad. Boop! You got my money, $14 a month or whatever it's going to cost me. And so maybe that was Hulu's entire goal. Like, we're going to show you Diva Cup ads until you pay to no longer see Diva Cup ads. And it worked. They got my money. Okay. Approach the sun by firing a Fibonacci laser pulse at atoms inside a quantum computer. Physicists have created a completely new, strange phase of matter that behaves as if it has 2 dimensions of time. I was reading that article, and it still doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I read that thing 5 times, and I was like, yep, I'm going to have somebody else explain that one to me. I have no idea what any of it meant whatsoever. Good on those scientists. Don't know what's going on. Okay. O2, what do you think about Meagle? Its cost to borrow is like 219%, being shorted massively, 7,000 short shares left. Meagle is one of those weird Chinese companies. They agreed to sell 5 million shares in an American IPO, and then all these, what do you call it? What's the term for the sponsors? The dogs, help me. What's it called? the guys who sponsor the IPO and help get it out there, whatever, if they promised 5 million shares to these guys, those guys sold them all ahead of time, and then the companies in China never deliver the shares, so they don't have any. And they're like, oh shit, our customers aren't getting any shares. We owe shares, and that's why the price goes whoop on the takeoff days. So Meagle, what was the other one? The other one that recently went to like $2,200. HKD. They're scams. They're definite scams, and the SEC is probably going to crack down on Chinese companies listing their ARDSs or whatever on U.S. markets. But at the moment, if you can manage to get in early on those things, shoot you to the moon, man. Wheat Wild, Zoom might be a quick play next week with earnings posted after hours on Monday. It could be a quick 1 to 2 days option play to make some money and then load up on BBBY calls for November, October. Zoom has done well. They aren't quite what they were during they were in COVID, because people are zooming less than they were before. But they're still the A game out there for video conferencing. I mean, has anyone used the Skype ever since Zoom came on board? No. Used to be Skype this, Skype that. No one uses Skype anymore. Matter of fact, only Microsoft bought Skype, and now they use Microsoft Teams. So Skype might even exist for all I know. Money Printer go burr. How long does 13F filings take to affect price? I think the filings for things like 13Fs, 13Ds, 13Gs, all that stuff, is oftentimes related to when it becomes public. Like Wednesday, RC had sold everything, apparently by Wednesday. But it wasn't announced until Thursday, and that's when the price went bark. So he was done. He'd finished it. It was only the announcement that he had done that caused all the panic and the selling and the crashing of the Bed Bath & Beyond price. So it has to do with, I think, when the information comes out. And, that's what people trade on, is information. Not actuality, just information. Oh, and of course you reset again, because that's what you do. You reset and then to go back and find out where I was. Where was I? That was this little Forester one. Oh, James got another one. Another thought with Bed Bath & Beyond. It seems so strange that RC builds up a reputation with retail over 2 years just to ruin that for a quick buck. So weird. Exactly. I mean, he even had a tweet about CEOs making retailers bag holders. And so he's got to have a phase 2 to this. There has to be a phase 2. If there's a phase 2, then, joke's on us, I guess. Ha ha! But there won't be a place in the world that dude will be able to, like, make a friend or get a meal or whatever. There has to be a phase 2. Okay, that's Wheat Wild 1. That was... Okay. Colin Halligan, thoughts on AMC and price action this week. Also, thoughts on the storms the funds are facing trying to get APE. I think they continue to try and short down AMC. The price of AMC will take AMC's here, and it'll take a drop so that APE and AMC equal the same amount Monday morning. And they'll use that as an excuse to be like, look, the price of AMC is crashing. We're just going to hammer it down further. And they're going to try to hammer it down. But the only way they hammer it down is by making naked shares. And when you make naked shares, you increase your liability. So they're just making more and more and more liability every time they short it down. So I would expect them to basically push it down as far as they can, at least until T35 date. And then they might be in trouble at T35. Because remember, the ISDA rule, Thursday the 1st, comes into effect, meaning everyone who has done $8 billion a year or more in derivatives trades will now have to post an insane amount of margin to be allowed to continue derivatives trading, which means swaps may grind to a halt. These are the family funds, the medium to fairly large hedge funds are all now going to fall under this rule, and they won't be able to do a single swap, debt swap, until they can meet margin requirements. And right now, everybody has been getting hit so hard, and their assets are down so much, and the returns are garbage, and there's no liquidity right now, there's no cash in the market, that these folks may not be able to post margin and may not be able to make a swap. And if you don't post the margin, you get blacklisted from doing swaps with anyone. So no one is even allowed to touch your stuff. Like, you might have margin, like, I'll do a trade with these guys, but if they don't have the margin, you can't do the trade. And you'll get in trouble for doing the trade. So, when the T35s come in for AMC from this round of FOMO for leading up into the dividend, I think there may be a whole bunch of hedge funds and family funds that shorted the heck out of this thing that have no way of getting out because they can't trade away that debt. And I think it's going to be pretty awesome. They may figure out a different way to get out of it. I don't know. But the fact they won't be able to do these debt swaps anymore because they won't be able to post the margin required to do it, that's going to be pretty magical. And I think September leading to October is just going to be a lot of boom boom for a lot of these stocks, because they're going to be missing like some bullets from the chamber that they're used to having when it comes time for these things. Okay, where was I? John Castro. I missed something? Mike, yes. Something about register for IPO. Let's see Monday if I get any. Oh, you registered to get shares from an IPO Monday. Ah, okay. That's what you're saying. Okay. Crap, quit resetting, dude. Alright, I'm gonna scroll back up. Sorry, I like to scroll down and all of a sudden the chat just goes right to the bottom, and it's very annoying. And okay, I guess we're at 10:37, so I'm only 20 minutes behind as a result of that thing. Aaron Salentine, Houston, I think if I change and play with 1,000 IPOs, they have been doing 100% moves on low floats. There is idea for you to make extra cash. Webull has 6 pre-order IPOs next week. I'm looking into make my money from BBBY fall. What? But yeah, hit those IPOs, man. Might as well. There have been so few IPOs this year that I think any IPO that goes runs. Last year there was like $56 billion in tech IPOs launched, and this year up until like through July, it was like 500 million in IPOs launched. And then you got the weird things like HKD, which suddenly was worth $400 billion at one time, and it's like the 6th largest company in the world, and no one can tell you what the hell they do, all because they're a scam. So that's wild. Yeah. Unpaid overtime. Have you watched Ad Astra with Brad Pitt? I have. It has a space elevator. It does. Ad Astra was an interesting movie. Kind of the way, like, the quiet way space movies should be. Space movies should be quiet because space is really quiet. But I honestly, like, I watched it. I enjoyed it. Could not tell you what it was about at all. Like 3 years later, not a clue. Don't remember anything. So it was a nice, quiet space movie, and Brad Pitt was in it. And the physics seemed all right. I don't remember being angry about physics, but I don't remember the plot at all. It's just gone from my brain. What was my favorite metalcore song? Metalcore's not quite, like, not quite my jam. Like, it's a little too punk rockish. I'm much more into death metal, kind of leather metal, like your 70s, you know, your Judas Priests, those type of guys. And I like blues metal a lot, but I'm not the biggest punk rock fan. Punk rock is just kind of meh to me. So, you know, I've been to a lot of shows just because, you know, friends are playing or whatever, but not quite my jam. So I couldn't tell you my favorite one. I mean, I guess like what's the pirate metal band? They're kind of punk metalcore. Oh my gosh, big dog. I guess this time of night my brain just names go whop on my head. I'll think on it. Okay. Everyone keeps telling me to watch Primer. I've not seen Primer yet. I do need to see Primer. That's been on the list. I gotta figure out what it streams on, and I can watch Primer. Project Sun finally saving me with some coordinates. Tropical? Far East. Or Middle East, maybe. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Doink. There we are. Bam, bam, bam. I have no idea where I ended up. But I'm on a mountaintop. I'm on a mountaintop. And Projet gave me a mountain in the middle of nowhere. Oh, wait. Hong Soon Dong. Oh, it's that big cave. It's that giant cave that was discovered. Why won't you let me? Hong Soon Dong. It's that huge cave that was discovered. No, close. Don't give me the spinning rainbow of death. Just close the... There we go. Hong Soon Dung? Hong Soon Dung. Here we go. Vietnam. Huge cave. World's largest cave. Yeah. This thing. It's like hundreds of meters tall. And, yeah, stalactites and stalagmites, big enough you can stand on them. That's crazy. But, yeah, it's the giant cave. It's got its own beach. You go camping on the beach in the cave. That thing's wild. That thing's wild. Look at that thing. Look at that. That's nuts. That is nuts. Camping on your beach in the cave. Cave beach. Cave kayak. That's cool. I want to do that. Look at those guys. Caving along. Their glowy boats. That's cool. Let's go there. Nicole Wynn. Can they fail to deliver APE on the AMC synthetics? What would happen if they didn't? If they fail to deliver, then they face the T plus 90. Because it's already considered a default, you get the T plus 90 and you haven't paid a share, you get liquidated until you can pay for one of those shares. So that's the T plus 90. That's when we saw like Newegg go bonkers. Went up to like $70 from $4 in a day. Was a T plus 90 on a merger they had. And sometimes they manage to like swap their way out of it somehow, and I don't know how they do it. But something big like this, with the Phase 6 rules coming in for the ISDA, I don't know if they're going to be able to swap their way out of it. And with the T plus 0 settlement, they aren't going to be able to short it. They aren't going to be able to create any new synthetics. So I think it's going to be pretty crazy. It's going to be pretty crazy as it happens. Okay. I wasn't really caught up in the chat. I just happened to see your comment about my sister in the corner. I've got the chat I'm trying to follow, and then in my OBS that has like what's the most current thing. So I can see Nicole saying thanks Houston, and Dustin saying hold double squeeze, and then on the side I'm trying to read all the stuff. On the left side is the YouTube live stream side where the that's where I'm trying to read the chat. Fast Like a Bear Fitness, did you see mention Citadel borrowing money? Yeah, Citadel did an emergency $600 million bond today. And remember, they did the $600 million bond in winter, spring 2021, and it's already junk status. So they are junk status bonds. Citadel does not have a very high credit rating, even though they control hundreds of billions of dollars in assets and do $4 billion a quarter in trading for retail, all sorts of stuff. Everyone knows that they're not reliable and they're a bunch of hunks of crap. And so they did an emergency sale of $600 million in bonds. Basically, it's like a payday loan for an institution their size. So it'll be interesting to see what that's used for, right? Are they going to go like, oh, here's the pay you back, I'm so sorry? Or is it going to be like, well, I'm going to make another play because all my other plays have been so fantastic? Like, are we in that gambler addictions dilemma where like, oh, this next horse is going to be the one that wins? For a company that's just spent like $1 billion on homes and offices in Florida, why are they asking for $600 million, right? You could have just stayed in Chicago and not have to buy $1 billion in homes and offices in Florida. But, you're Ken Griffin. And you are somehow worth $25 billion while your company has lost over $100 billion this year. So, I don't understand how any of that works. Wooden Puppet. I got ads for a beer pong show with Post Malone on YouTube for 3 months straight. Well, I had a great one. Brooks running shoes. A whole bunch of ads were coming up during my show for them, and I happened to have my friend Liz starring in the commercial. So that was cool to see my friend Liz like jogging in a Brooks running shoe commercial. BBBY brand, lots of red today. No one's interested in being YouTube. Yeah, it was kind of a meh day for a lot of folks, and it took me a lot to like muster enough energy to finally do a show this evening. But it was hot and sticky and gross and humid today, and I didn't want to be in this room anyway during the daytime. It's just too warm and gross. But you know what? Started doing the show. I feel happier. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm chatting with all of you. All 357 of you hanging out on a Friday night, in the middle of the night, like a bunch of weirdos. Welcome. It's fun. It is. It brightens my day. Mike, Houston, can you take a look at Adam's last tweet? Look at Adam Aaron's tweet? Is that what we're doing? Where's my search? Okay. Yesterday, Cineworld Regal, our next largest competitor, issued a fairly bleak prognosis for its near-term performance and liquidity. By contrast, AMC, we are quite optimistic and confident in our future, especially so because of our new APE security, our statement today. Hoogity boogity boogity boogity. That's a lot to read right there. Break it up with some paragraphs there, Adam. That is, okay. Largest movie exhibition company, blah, blah, blah. COVID-19 impact, blah, blah, blah. Basic information available at the time. Forward-looking statements, risks, trends, uncertainties may include, no ability to obtain additional liquidity, more COVID-19, borrowing capacity meets financial needs, yada, yada, yada. So basically they're saying, like, our bad news isn't based upon they're not being good movies. It's based upon elements outside of our control, like COVID-19. That's what I get gathered from that wall of text. Okay. But, so, and they may have the ability to purchase the leases or theaters for a lot of the Cineworld Regal theaters that are in great locations that do money. You might be like, oh, I'll take those off your hand and turn them into AMC theaters. I wonder at which point AMC may get in trouble for gobbling up too many theaters, though. Like, if they're gobbling up the second largest competitor, when do regulators go, now, wait a minute, guys, you probably shouldn't be doing that? Like, too big, antitrust problems. I don't know. Deck P, Citadel Security borrowing $600 million. Yep, Citadel is borrowing again. When you are invested in a hedge fund, and you take your hard-earned millions or billions and you give it to some hedge fund manager to make you more millions and billions, and they've lost you like 40% of what you gave them, and then they got to go out and borrow cash from somebody else, that screams to me, we're doomed. I'm going to lose all my money. And again, what's the rule number? If your hedge fund does 3/4 of negative growth, you're allowed to pull your cash out. And that triggers at the end of this quarter, at the end of this third quarter. So, come November, a whole bunch of billionaires and cajillionaires may be able to pull all their cash out of these hedge funds and just doom them all. Because they've been getting negative growth for 3 quarters in a row. And no matter what rule Citadel has about, you can only take out 6% a year and blah, 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 that no longer helps them when all their cash is taken out. So there might be a run on a bank on a lot of these hedge funds come November. Okay. Okay. James, anytime best meme stock YouTube channel by far. I am. I'll take it. Always happy to support the big guy. I need it this week, man. Ugh, woof. Probably all need it. I hope we get some green in time for Charity Tuesday. That's what I'm hoping for. Charity Tuesday, a nice green Tuesday, is the best day to do Charity Tuesday. On a big red Charity Tuesday, it's like pulling teeth trying to get enough to meet our goal for whatever charity we raise money for. And this time around, we're raising money for the flash flood victims in Kentucky. So on Tuesday the 30th, Charity Tuesday, will be raising money for the flash flood victims in Kentucky. They got, like 5 months of rain in 12 hours, and it just wiped out everything. We're talking homes that have been there for 200-300 years, gone, because flooding like this never happened before. And a lot of those folks, they don't have a lot to begin with in eastern Kentucky. So, help them because we can. So that's why we've got to hope for some nice green days leading up to Charity Tuesday. So come on, Bed Bath & Beyond, whatever announcement you're doing with Ryan Cohen, and let us know that it's going to be green and we can afford to be charitable. Okay. Guitar stuff. I live in Oregon, and for several months, Hulu thought I was in New Jersey. I binged a couple of Brooklyn Nine-Nine seasons with my New Jersey car dealership and political commercials. Hulu has really bad. I don't know who's in charge of their ad placement or their demographic monitoring or whatever, but they don't have it at all. Yeah. I mean, Facebook is pretty terrible. Facebook is constantly trying to give me Ben Shapiro. Like, just trying to shove Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson down my throat, and I can't stand those dudes. Like, I am a member of a group that makes fun of Ben Shapiro called Ben Shapiro Knocked Down My Sandcastle, where we just make fun of Ben Shapiro. And for some reason, I think Facebook is like, oh, obviously he wants to see nothing but Ben Shapiro ads when he scrolls through his Facebook feed. I'm like, no, I don't want to see any of those. And I click, never show this to me again. And 2 weeks later, it's full of Ben Shapiro ads. So I don't know how Ben Shapiro gets around the fact that I keep saying, don't show me these things. But Facebook don't care. Facebook made Ben Shapiro a millionaire. So, they're going to keep figuring out a way to show me those ads because they want that Ben Shapiro money. Andrew Dowell, didn't Ryan Cohen tweet, "It's not what your company can do for you, but it's what you can do for your company." I think that's the last tweet he had on what, the 8th or 10th? Ryan Cohen. Oh, he did a heart on August 10th, and he did, if we print a few trillion more, it should bring inflation down, tax the rich. And then August 5th, he said, "Ask not what your company can do for you, ask what you can do for your company." So that's the one. So if it was, makes sense. That tweet makes sense if it is something to do with the swing trade profit rule. Hi, Monkey Butt. How are you? Are you a good dog? You're staring off into space like a weirdo. What's up? What's up, Monkey Butt? What's up? All right, you go there. You do your thing. Monkey Butt. Come back here. Come on. Come on. Come on, there you go. That's what everyone wants to see. Want to see a little monkey butt? There you are. That makes sense. Like if he's sacrificing his shares so that Bed Bath & Beyond can survive another day. Interesting, very interesting tactic indeed. Very interesting. Okay. Rated Bow, Jimmy Kids trademark equals bye bye baby. Quite possibly. I don't know how many video games people are buying their little kids, but GameStop, I think also one of the things GameStop has the potential to do is where'd my it just reset again. You stinky. There it is. One of the things GameStop can do is they can move, now that they're more of a digital online presence, but they still have, their brick and mortar stores, is they can start to fill the void that Toys R Us left behind, KB Toy Hobby left behind, FAO Schwartz left behind, Toys.com left behind, eToys.com left behind. Like, they can become, not just selling video games and stuff like that, they can become a major purveyor of toys and games in general. Like, why not? Why not move into that realm? Because the only places you can get toys are like Walmart and Target, and the toy sections are 2 aisles. You can make it a whole internet thing, and why not? Why not move into that? It's wide open. I mean, Bain Capital and Boston Consulting Group and all those guys have killed that entire market. So take it on. Lupe de Leon. All this talk, the hedge funds shorts having to cover by today, which they didn't. It looks like they have no intention of ever covering unless forced. Yep. They won't do it unless they're forced to. 100%. Only when there's like a gun put to their head and their fingers are forced to hit the buy buttons are they ever going to bother covering. Until then, they're just not going to do it, man. They're not going to do it at all. They're going to go, I didn't see you there. Oh, well. Oh, short. Take that cash, stick in the Caymans. Short. Take that cash, stick in the Caymans. They're going to do it over and over and over. You are 100% right, Lupe. They won't do it until they're forced to. They're like the parent who's told the kid to go clean up their room, and they aren't doing it. They're like, nah, I'm not going to do it until like they see the parent like take their belt off, and they're like, get over here, and then they're going to clean their room. But they're not going to do it, man. They're not going to do it until they're forced. Okay. Michael Steeks, Houston, I just woke up. Do you still think Bed Bath & Beyond will go up before GME? Also, do you know about Phase 6? Yeah, I was trying to have AMC Bigums on. He said, yeah, totally, come on a show this week. And I said, sweet, Wednesday or Friday. And I never heard back again. So maybe we'll try for next week to get Bigums on, talk a little deeper about Phase 6. I only know like the big overview of what's behind Phase 6, which is basically the first phase was institutions that do like $3 trillion a year in derivatives those ones have to meet margin requirements. Okay, so you took care of like 5 banks around the world that meet that requirement. The next was like $1 trillion, then it was 500 billion. It got down. The most recent one was September of last year. Was any group that does 50 billion in derivatives trades in a year now must meet these margin requirements, and that was the group which still doesn't cover Archegos. So Archegos was doing 30 billion in trades, derivatives trades, and they still wouldn't have qualified under last September's Phase 5 rule. Now, anyone who does $8 billion a year in derivatives trades must meet these new margin requirements, which are pretty steep, and that would include the family funds like Archegos. So you're looking at, these family funds, there's $7.7 trillion worth of them. I forget the numbers that were in the ISDA documents, but something like 700 funds and 5,000 participants, I don't know how they classify them, would be affected by this new Phase 6 rule of everyone who is in the $8 billion realm. But without the ability to do a swap or to trade any of these derivatives without posting what seems to be a substantial amount of margin ahead of time, it's going to limit how many of these groups can do it. So, and why this rule is taking place, Archegos is a great example. And I think I talked about this in the last show. Archegos had $800 million in assets. I'd be happy to have $800 million in assets. If I had $800 million in assets, I would just stick that shit in a Vanguard and go about my life, enjoying my life, and not doing trading. Who gives a crap about that at that point? I'm going to see everywhere in the world I ever wanted to see and live like a traveling king. Anyway, Archegos had $800 million in assets. They create a family fund, so they don't have to report any of their holdings to anyone. Good for you. Awesome. And they used that 30-to-1 leverage, so that means they could do 30 times as much in margin as they had in their assets, which is insane. And they went to Credit Suisse. They say, Credit Suisse, I got $800 million here. I'll use that as collateral for a huge margin from you. And they go, Credit Suisse is like, fantastic. You're allowed 30-to-1. So they took out cajillions of dollars. They made a whole bunch of plays into Discovery and whatever else they're betting on. And then they went to Nomura in Japan. And Nomura, I've got $800 million in assets. I'll use as collateral on a huge bunch of margin so I can make some trades. And Nomura goes, right on. Here's a whole bunch of yen. And they go, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And then they go to Goldman Sachs. They hit Goldman Sachs. I have $800 million in margin. I want to make lots of trades. So give me some of that margin. And they did it to five big investment banks. The problem is that each investment bank had no idea what the other 4 were doing. Like, they hadn't said, like, hey, Goldman Sachs, I've already gone to 2 other investment banks with this exact same collateral and took out a shitload of money from both of them. So I'm going to pretend like I have never collateralized any of this before, and I'm going to take out a huge margin from you, and we're cool. And Goldman Sachs is like, awesome. That works for me. Here's money. And at JP Morgan, hey, Merrill Lynch. And this is what the new ISDA rule is trying to stop, in that each bank is going to know how much you have in assets, how much collateral you've posted, and how you can meet the margin requirements via liquidity or capital. And this way, all these various lenders will no longer get screwed by you using the same collateral over and over and over again with multiple people. It'd be like you own a home. You have a home. The home's worth, I don't know, $500,000. And you're like, well, I'm going to take out a mortgage on my house because I need to do some repairs. I want to take a vacation. You buy a new car. So you go to the bank. You say, hey, bank, my home's worth $500,000. It's paid off. Can I get a $500,000 loan from my home? And the bank's like, all right, yeah, 6% interest, whatever. And you get $500,000. And you go to another bank. And you say, hey, bank, my home's paid off. It's worth $500,000. Can I get a loan from you? And they go, yeah, totally. You take another $500,000 loan. And you go to another bank. And you say the same thing. You go to 5 banks and you collect $2.5 million on your $500,000 home because none of the other banks happen to know that you are over leveraging this one house 5 times. And you wouldn't be able to do that in our system because we've got credit reporting. And so each bank would know whenever you're seeking for a loan, right? Well, that does not exist for these family funds and hedge funds. There's no database out there saying, hey, this hedge fund has already promised this collateral to somebody else. There's nothing like verifying any of it. And so all these hedge funds and family funds might have a scary amount of margin with dozens of different banks and institutions and primary brokers, and we have no idea what their obligations are. And the only reason we have no idea what their obligations are is because everyone is too damn scared to margin call them. Because they know the first prime broker or investment bank that margin calls these suckers, they're going to, out of the woodworks, are going to be all the other lenders like, wait, where's my piece of that? And you're going to get a situation like you had with Archegos, where these 5 investment banks are all screwed. And Credit Suisse might go bankrupt from this one family fund. One family fund might do in one of the largest, previously strongest international investment banks in the entire world. And that was just one family fund. We've got another 700 to 5,000 of them that all might be in the exact same position. That is terrifying. So this new ISDA rule essentially is going to make it so they can monitor who has borrowed what and what their collateral is, and that it only gets used once, which is really going to hinder the ability of these hedge funds to hide just how poorly they've done with all of these trades over the years. It's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty eye-opening coming up this fall. So that's what we're dealing with, and I'm hoping to have AMC Bigham's on, and we can talk about it in greater depth, because he is way more knowledgeable by far than I am in this. I only have a cursory, I watched his videos and read through it. I'm like, okay, I have an idea of what this means, but I think he's got a much bigger idea of like the domino effect it's going to have throughout all of these folks. Because there's only one or two groups that can do $3 trillion in derivatives trades a year, but there's hundreds or thousands of them that do $8 billion. And the ones below that, the family funds that do below $8 billion, is probably 10,000 of those around the world. So I don't know if there's a phase 7 in the works to like push it down so that everybody has to do it. But like you and I, we have to have a certain amount of collateral, and we got to prove it once. We can't like go to a bunch of different banks and take out loans on our meager little brokerage accounts. So it's already affecting the small guys, but it's that medium to big group that have gotten away with it for all these years. And so we're gonna see where it goes. Did that explanation work? I hope it worked. I felt good about it. Okay. Okay. Just in my head, how much wall did Andy have to chisel through to escape in Shawshank? Is that possible with that tiny rock hammer? Oh, man. My guess is that it's probably at least a foot thick concrete wall, right? At least, if not more. And he did it over years, right? He did it over like 20 years to chisel through that thing. My guess is he would need multiple rock hammers to go through that. Especially doing it quietly and scraping rather than just like sledgehammering your way through, which will probably take days. But to do it really slowly, scraping away, getting like spoonfuls of dust at a time off of that wall, that would take a long time, and it would probably grind through quite a few rock hammers. Yeah. Yeah. More than one chisel or rock hammer. Yeah. Real surf punk is tits. I do like surf music. I've been in a couple of surf bands over the years. I'm a huge surf rock fan. My Dan Electro fell apart though. That was a really great surf guitar, but something keeps on cutting on solder to keep soldering it, just pops undone again, driving me off the wall. All right. Fire sale, whichever bring the best price. Heck yeah. Guillermo using like punk rock clutches pearls. Yeah, punk rock. Doesn't really do it for me. And I have a lot of great friends and a lot of great punk bands, and just doesn't do it. I like guitar solos, baby. I like thunder. And punk music just doesn't quite give me the thunder. BBBY brand, not a fan of quantum computing. They are just going to break every password encryption we can think of, making them useless. Yep. Yeah. The minute we get to like a 24 flop, 32 flop quantum computer, it will be able to solve every single solitary crypto token on Earth in a matter of minutes. So like everybody's crypto wallet just, and believe me, someone's going to use it for evil, because why not? Why not become a cajillionaire? Because you can. You'll be able to crack every bank account. The 1086 encryption that you might have, or 2049. I don't know what type of bit encryption you'd have for like spy satellites and the Pentagon. Like that crap would get hacked in 3 minutes with a quantum computer. So it's gonna be really hard to like keep secrets. We're gonna have to go back to like file folders and like keys and actual dial locks and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting. Like quantum computers may make hacking so easy that we have to go back to like World War II technologies just to protect ourselves from the quantum computers and any nefarious individuals who have control of one. It's gonna be really wild. Okay. Aaron Salentine, so the T plus 90 for BBBY is next week, right? That's what DVS was saying the other night on the show. I think it's next Tuesday or Wednesday. So BBBY back to trading again. The price went bing, and we're what, $140, $170, so went up like 100% from when the trading closed on it. We'll see what Tide does. The Tide share doesn't really seem to be doing much climbing at the moment, but that's the one that would really trigger for that. Wheat Wild, enjoy the flight 7CH4H8W plus WR. Here's a small something from today's storm. 7CHC84H8W plus WR. Enjoy the flight. Omer, I have no idea what you're talking about there, but thank you. Let's settle something from today's shitstorm. Excellent. Wheat Wild did well on his Foot Locker calls, so, great job there. Thumbs up all the way, 100%. Okay, where is oh, guitar stuff. Vela. Where are we here? 4740. That's a really specific thing there, guitar stuff. Very specific. Oh, did I close? Oh, son of a bitch. I closed my... Why'd I do that? Sometimes I just, close Google Earth, even though I know I'm going to have to use it later. There we go. Bam. Shaboom, shabing, shabong. Cannot understand. Maybe you can't understand. That's the coordinate, man. I guess we can just do 48. It's very specific latitude and longitude here. Which one can't understand? Look at that crap. They want the E pressed into the... Alright, we'll do that. Oh, it's because there's a negative sign. Ah. Here we go. Alright. Go in the middle of the ocean to right there. Wikipedia's got a thing on this. What Wikipedia got for us? Vela incident, sometimes referred to as South Atlantic flash, was an unidentified double flash of light. Oh, you guys can't read that. Double flash of light by American Vela Hotel satellite on 22nd of September 1979 near the South African territory of Prince Edward Islands in the Indian Ocean, roughly midway between Africa and Antarctica. Today, most independent researchers believe the flash was caused by a nuclear explosion, an undeclared joint nuclear test carried out in South Africa and Israel, but by South Africa and Israel. The cause of the flash remains officially unknown, and some information about the event remains classified by the U.S. government. While it has been suggested that the signal could have been caused by a meteoroid hitting the satellite, the previous 41 double flashes detected by Vela satellites were caused by nuclear weapons tests. All right. Okay. So that's about when South Africa and Israel were teamed up creating a nuclear weapon, which is, you know, no one's ever confirmed and everyone has always denied, but we all kind of know that Israel's probably a nuclear power. So we set up a whole bunch of listening posts around all the oceans, because there's lots of oceans you can't monitor because no one lives there. And so we set up all these listening posts, and what we discovered was we were looking for nuclear tests or outside of any of the nuclear treaties and so on. And what we discovered was there's a lot more large meteorites that enter our atmosphere than we ever thought did before, because 75% of the world is ocean where people don't live. And so 3/4 of all the rocks that fall from space fall over the ocean. And we just didn't realize how many big ones fall over the oceans, and a lot do, from those listening posts. Just the booms of them exploding the atmosphere. So a lot more Tunguska events seem to happen over the oceans than people ever thought possible before. But yeah, good spot. Good one, guitar stuff. Good one. Okay. Bone 104, is it just me, or is it strange that the night we are supposed to receive our ape shares, none of these suspect content creators make any videos? I have all mine in my Fidelity account. And did I get mine yet? Why are you giving... What are you doing? I don't care about market movers. Show me my account. What is going on? There we go. See all. There we go. Nope, I don't have Ape listed in my Fidelity yet. But other people, when they logged into Fidelity, would get their announcement like, hey, the Ape is coming, blah, 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 blah. I never got that announcement in mine. So, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Curious. Well, here we sit and wait. BBBY brand not answering the same set of questions, 15 questions per week straight, to be asked the same set of 15 questions for another week. Yeah, that's kind of true. It's I try to keep my zen, because I know folks jump in at different times and they aren't necessarily here when we start the show, and they might need a little recap or something. Like, I gotta remind myself that even though I just talked about it, sometimes I gotta talk about it again. It'd be like, you know, I teach the same intro to astronomy course every quarter, and I get to like the second quarter, and I'm like, I just talked about this crap. Why ask me that question? Not realizing that they weren't in the previous quarter's class. Like, I may have to explain it again, may have to talk about it again, may have to do it 5 times in the week or whatever. But it's, you know, it's the role. You can't answer the same thing over and over again, I guess. That's why you guys are around, right? To hear the same explanation over and over and over and over. Okay. James Hebb, I like watching Common Sense Investor. Dude gets absolutely blazed and pumps out videos about AMC, APE, etc. Where am I? Oh, BBBY brand. I worked in plastics. I'm used to these swings in plastics. It's usually 2 up and down cycles a year. Stock market is basically acting the same way on accelerated time scale. I've never messed with. I'm making money so fast I don't know what to do with myself. Well, good for you. I was doing that last week. This week, the opposite was happening. I was doing so well. I took that tiny little seed, and I'd made a beautiful tree out of it, and then I lit that tree on fire this week and watched it just turn to ash. Such is life, I guess. You win some, you lose some just as big. Project Sun, how many sides does Circle have? Circle has no sides. We can talk about how pi came about. All right, let's do that. Let's go here. We'll go new. All right, make you somewhat decent size there. And that means I got to turn off you, turn on you. Bing. All right. So we have. I can actually make a pretty perfect circle with this guy. Oops. No. No. I want a Goram circle. There we go. All right. So that's pretty circle-ish. That's pretty good. All right. So we got ourselves a circle. Now, to figure out, I believe it was Archimedes that did this, monkey. I think it was Archimedes. He was trying to calculate pi, and what they did was. You can kind of see the little box around the circle at the moment. And so each one of these boxes represents the diameter of a circle. And so you can measure the diameter of the circle, the circumference of the circle, by looking at this box. And if the diameter of the circle is 1, then the box is going to be 4. And then what he also did, so we can, let's see if I can make a box around this thing. I don't know if I actually can. That's almost a box. And then he took another, made another box inside the circle. And boom, says, okay, this one is 4. How big is this one? This one was like 3.025 or whatever. It's like, okay, that's one way to do the circle. Next, he decided to do, can I do an octagon in here? Pentagon, octagon, hexagon. I may have to draw it. Okay. So he decided, okay, I'm going to turn the sucker into an octagon. And then, oops, nope, do your thing. Bing, nope, go back. There we go. Okay. All right, we're getting there. We're almost to ourselves an octagon. And he kept doing this and making these things more and more sides to it. So there we go. We got ourselves a little octagon. He did the same thing with our giant square. He made it smaller too. Shaved off some ends and made that into an octagon. And boom. And he measured the inside octagon. It was like 3.10 blah, 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 blah. He measured the outside octagon. It was like 3.5 and so on. And then he made it smaller. And he made it into 16-sided polygon, right? And so made it smaller and smaller and smaller. I think he got all the way to the point where he made like a 500-sided polygon. And, made this thing absolutely just gnarly as heck. And got the inside polygon, the outside polygon as close to each other as possible around the edge of that circle, and that's where pi came from. It ended up being the circumference of the circle. If you add up the 512 sides of the polygon, were 3.14 and change of the diameter of the circle, and that's how pi was discovered. So a circle has no sides, unless you are dealing with something like a computer system, where you have to deal with polygon ratios, and because computers have pixels, the smallest side of your circular polygon is 1 pixel. So, depending on the size of the pixels in your screen, that's how many sides a circle will have. That's the whole reason why, like, Tomb Raider had like cone boobs, and that early cars and video games were like 16-sided polygons that just kind of rotated, because making actual circles took way too much memory, and so that's how you got there. That's it. So there are no sides to a circle, but there are sides to a circle if you're doing computer programming. That help? I don't know if that helped, but something to talk about anyway, right? Okay. Okay, BW Brand, look around the market looking for a stock that trades in a channel and is volatile as a godsend. And these stocks have been doing that for over a year. Yeah, volatile stocks are a great way to make money, because they do this fairly regularly. And just like the seller boxed OTC stocks, like stuff on the pink sheet that's pegged to like 1/10,000th of a dollar, every once in a while it's 2/10,000ths of a dollar. So you just buy 1,000,000 of them, and they set it to 0.0002, and then all of a sudden the sell triggers, and you're like, done. I just doubled my money. Put in a buy order for 0.00001. Put in a sell order for 0.0002. Whoop, sold. I just doubled my money. Yay. So that volatility, especially when you're playing options, and you can just like multiply it if you do it right over and over and over again. You can just build and build and build and build and build and build and build. And then sometimes it bites you in the ass and you pick the wrong date and it goes, and because Ryan Cohen sells everything, and then you're just sitting there going, well, that sucked. It happens, man. I was just below the deck P1. Yeah, that's where we were. Okay, Karen Mirza, good morning from Canada. What's your opinion on BBBY? Oh, here we go. Basically, I think the threshold list and the T13 that's due starting on the 2nd is going to make for some boom booms, regardless of whatever we're scared of because Ryan Cohen got out. I think that's going to be combined with an announcement from Bed Bath & Beyond and Ryan Cohen about something diabolical that they worked out, whether it's he's bought back in, or he bought Bye Bye Baby, or what. I think there's going to be something interesting that happens, and it's going to cause an explosion in price, compounding on that T13 for the threshold list. And the T13 for the threshold list is what caused GameStop to go bonkers in January 2021. It was 13 days after it went on the thresholds list is when the price just went absolutely skyrocketed. So I may still take whatever chunk of change I get from a paycheck this weekend and get Bed Bath & Beyond calls. As many as I can. I may go for just volume of them. I may get them like $20-$30 out of the money and just get as many as I can. Because if the price gets into the hundreds, who cares? Right? Like, I think I'd rather have 75 calls that are worth $10,000 each than 5 calls that are worth $15,000 each. So that might be what I go for. I just want the price. That's going to be what happens. I want the price to settle, not do anything squirrely for a couple of days, get that implied volatility down, make those calls cheaper, and then go for it. Or it crashes further and goes down to like $1. I don't care. I'll buy a bajillion stuff at $1. And see how it goes. I don't know how much cheaper it will go. It was fairly steady today because I think everyone was so shell-shocked this week that some of them like didn't know what to do. They just sat there and went, oh, shit. And so while there was 132 million shares trading, I think a lot of those were probably high-frequency trading being pumped back and forth between trading computers and not actual trades made by folks who owned actual stock. So there we are. Howler's got spot. Okay. This is 47 degrees and 52, so somewhere like East Coast US? Is that where we're looking? Google Earth. Got to go there, and I got to delete the and out of there and turn that into a comma. Right? Bing bong. Okay. Oh, it's North America. This is, where am I? Nova Scotia? Where'd I end up? St. John's. Ah, okay. We're in Newfoundland? Yeah, Newfoundland. All right. St. John's, Newfoundland. We are looking somewhere down in town here. It's got St. John's, Newfoundland is kind of a soft focus, like a Golden Girls, you know, fuzz out the wrinkles focus. Okay, so we want us to go right here, right in front of what looks like a bright something. Sirens. Okay. Whoop. Oh, no. We're going back to sirens. All right. Sirens. That definitely looks like a lady bar. And over here, we've got Club 1. That also seems like it might be a lady bar. Sundance Saloon. So this is definitely the bar alley. Okay. So how many boobs are in this bar alley here? And what am I doing with Club 1? They look like they're Bud Light. On the way, when Sky Vodka, there's lots of advertising, lots of different kinds of whiskey. Jameson's and Absolute on that side of the street. We got, I can't read what that one is. Kelly's Pub. What do you got for me, Kelly? Lambs. Kelly's got Lambs. Sundance Saloon, do you have a particular alcohol you like? I don't see one there. You have an ATM, though. So you can go drop your cash at Sirens over here. And this Audi TT, this car right here, definitely belongs to one of these strippers inside. That's a stripper / flight attendant car, all the way. If you own that car, you take your clothes off for money, or you hand people mini bottles of liquor on flights across the country. That's what you do. It's probably little balls of sky. Look at these ATMs. ATMs everywhere. So ATM. Those look like windows for ATMs as well that don't exist anymore, but definitely people want to drop their loonies and toonies in there. What's it like to flick a $2 coin at somebody at a strip club? How's that work in Canada? All right. Yeah. Okay, well, there we go. Welcome to St. John's, Newfoundland. Hey, big dog, and welcome back. You gonna breathe on me some more? There you go. Yeah, that's your favorite. Yep. It's cooled off a little bit. You aren't panting anymore. That's good. Okay. Scott Allen videos. I don't know Scott Allen, so I don't know how to answer that. J. King, hedge funds still have plenty of other people's monies to lose, so, yep, so what? That's kind of what they're thinking. I think anything they make off a short-term deal, they will take and they'll put in those offshore accounts. And they will just cut that tether the minute they can get away with it, and they're going to leave all of their clients hanging. The problem is that as we saw early on this Russia-Ukraine war, as a lot of their clients seem to be really scary foreigners who are laundering money through South Dakota and Delaware and Wyoming. And, Ken Griffin, I'm not sure what his ties are to the Eastern Bloc, but I bet a lot of the money that he plays with and trades with comes from very scary generals and warlords and mobsters who are taking their cash out of Eastern Bloc nations, funneling them through offshore accounts and through tax shelters in the U.S., and they're finding their way into Citadel's accounts to play with. And this is kind of the plot to Casino Royale, is when Laffigue or whatever his name is loses all the warlords' money and the warlords start coming after him. I think it's something that a lot of these hedge fund dudes may have to look out for, is that if they lose the wrong people's money, that's it, man. That's it, big dog. If I lose your money, you're going to eat my face off, right? I'm going to eat your face off. Yes. Chris Thompson, hey Houston, if you can't get Bigums, you should get Randall Cornett. Randall, I watched Randall's video too. It was really good and nice and succinct and pretty straightforward. So I'll reach out to him also. Okay. Oh, BTB Brand saying pour Coca-Cola on the wall of the prison and they'll degrade. That's actually great because it's a carbonate, concrete, cement. So sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid will eat right through that stuff. Just even at like a 5% solution will do that. Eat right through it. So if you find anything stronger, you can find something like drain declogger. A lot of that has a lot of sulfuric acid in it, so you can. Do you happen to be on the cleaning crew? Maybe a little acid will take care of that sucker. Jimmy D, happy birthday to me. You made it. How would you imagine futuristic armor like in Dune would work? I thought it was rad as fun. Man. Like the stuff like, I'm going to stab someone real quick. Like, he can get in slow and defeats the armor. That thing is pretty interesting. I see it as, like... You know when they first made the F-117, the first stealth bomber? And I don't know if you guys... I talked about before, if you have a chance to read Skunk Works, read Skunk Works. It's a really incredible book about the tech behind Lockheed Martin's like top secret development. Dang it, I got dog hair in my eyeball. Top secret developments lab, mission developments lab, and when they made the F-117 model, like they made a model of it and they did like a radar test with the Pentagon, and they had to make a stealth post for the model to sit on because the post had so much radar signature compared to the model. And when they did the radar tests, like, holy shit, this thing is the size of like a bumblebee. How did you do that? And when they finally made the full jet, its radar signature is about the size of a hummingbird. Like, just teeny tiny. They have this jet that's 40 feet long, and on radar it looks the size of a hummingbird. And so it's really hard to pick out versus the noise that happens with other things flying in the air, like other birds and stuff. So the radars are usually calibrated to ignore things that are that small. It's just like background noise, whatever. And if you ever had a hope of pinpointing an F-117 or a B-2 bomber or an F-35 or whatever that has the stealth technology, and you ever wanted to like see it on radar, you had to calibrate your radar specifically to look for a hummingbird traveling like 700 miles an hour. So trying to find that hummingbird in all that noise traveling 700 miles an hour kind of reminds me of how the armor system in Dune would have to differentiate between somebody trying to stab really quick and somebody coming at you very slowly with that pointy object. So if they're going for you quick, the armor triggers and keeps you from stabbing them. If you go in real slowly, the armor doesn't recognize it as an object coming towards them at a fast enough rate to do any damage. So I don't know. I kind of see an analogy between the two. Like that armor, instead of looking for something big and blunt coming slowly, it's looking for that hummingbird traveling really fast, and that's when it activates. How they do it, I don't know, but that's how I imagine they would differentiate between the two things. Does that help, Jimmy D? I don't know if that helps. Man, I never know if I actually do anything helping here, but there's 400 of you hanging out, so something might be working. I don't know. Okay. Guitar stuff, if you like surf rock, check out Dinosaur Ghost. Guitar stuff, if you like surf rock, check out Satan's Pilgrims. There you go. There's a trade. And King of Hawaii. Insect surfers. And yeah, that'll be enough for now. Okay. Oh, set of coordinates. Okay, that's what you want. Oh, this is oh, we're in UTM, I think, is what you're giving me for. All right, we wild. You're taking me to the Eye of Africa. I am going to reach for the screen and murder everybody. Nope. I know what you're doing. Oh, you son of a bitch. All right. Universal Transverse Coordinate System. Oh, all right. Nope, we're not going to the Eye of Africa. Nice try, you son of a bitch. Next, you guys can give me, like, township and range of Eye of Africa. Oh. Ah. All right, nice try. Nice try. I stopped you. Well, we have no nuclear weapons, nuclear technology. Very, very stern. Oink, oink. Yep. BBBY brand, where are all the whistleblowers? Could it be they are getting sucked into SEC whistleblower program and it's a convoluted process that usually takes years to get results from? I think so. The whistleblowers, if they whistleblow for the SEC, they cannot go to the press, or else they forfeit whatever reward they get. So if there are whistleblowers, we will not hear about it until they announce rewards going out, which they do every couple of months. Like, oh, we did a $2 million reward to this person for, and they won't announce who was the whistleblower. But let's say we gave out a $2 million whistleblower reward to this folk or whatever, which I'm always curious about, because like when we hear about fines from the SEC, it's like, oh, $100,000 fine here and a $600,000 fine there. So if the SEC is recovering huge amounts of money from these whistleblowers, why don't they ever announce the huge amounts of money? They'll announce that they do a $2 million payout to a whistleblower, but they won't say like, hey, we fined this hedge fund $30 billion or something. It's really interesting. It's weird. It's weird. Like, why do they announce the small, useless things like the $120,000 that they fined, was it Virtue, for gaming their market maker status and naked shorting? But like the whistleblower at $120,000 fine would get like 10 grand. That sucks. Like, I put my entire career at risk for $10,000. Screw you, SEC. And I don't know why they don't announce the really big ones as often. Wheatwild saw a Fidelity tweet saying Ape shares will arrive on the 22nd. Sweet. All right, I figured as much. That's what they did with the. Like, I got them at like 3 o'clock in the morning for the GME split. Project Son, your favorite athlete was Ken Griffey Jr. I enjoyed watching Ken Griffey Jr. I went to hundreds of games watching Ken Griffey Jr. back in the day, but Ken Griffey Jr. is not my favorite athlete. From that Mariners team, I loved Edgar Martinez more, Jay Buhner more. And then when Jamie Moyer came in, Jamie Moyer stole my heart. Jamie Moyer is my favorite pitcher of all time. The dude was slow as shit and had a career into his 50s. Like, that, to me, is just bow down to greatness. And if he hadn't hurt his arm, he could have pitched probably further into his 50s. He was still playing AAA ball at like 51 years old, coming back from his injury. And then the Phillies were like, we're done. But, yeah. I appreciate the guys like Randy Johnson and Jamie Moyer who figured out how to pitch when they're 30 years old. Like, Jamie Moyer's biography is really great. It's called Just Tell Me You Can't. And it's a lot about sports psychology. And so, I forget that I'm still on Small Houston. It's all about sports psychology and about how various coaches throughout his career basically destroyed his self-confidence. Like, he was so good in high school that I think he won, like, his sophomore, junior, and senior years. I don't think he lost a game, like, at all. He was, and all the scouts were like, holy shit, this kid's amazing. But only threw 85 miles an hour. And so they're like, oh, well, we won't draft him out of high school. Let's see what he does in college. So he goes off to college, and he dominates in college. And he gets drafted by the Cubs, I think in 85 or 86. Fairly high draft pick because he won so much. But the Cubs didn't know what to do with him because he was a slow pitcher. So they keep trying to, like, form him into a pitcher that he wasn't. And basically, like, unless you can throw 92 miles an hour, you're useless to us. And so in his brain, he's like, I must throw fastballs. And his bread and butter was changeups. Like, he could do that 9 to 11 mile an hour difference in his changeups and get great movement on them and just mess with the timing of hitters. And he bounced around. He went to the Cubs. He went to, Atlanta. He went to Boston. And finally the Mariners traded for him. Got him in the trade for, was it Jason Varitek they got him in the trade for? Or was that Heathcliff Slocum? I can't remember. But he came over in a trade. And with the Mariners like, pitch your game, man. He's like, what? They're like, yeah, you pitch how you pitch. Do your thing. And all of a sudden, he was like Captain Slow, throwing 79 mile an hour fastballs, and no one was hitting him. And that 2001 season, he becomes a 20-game winner. It was awesome. Like, Jamie Moyer's the stud. That's who I like, because he was able to work through all sorts of weird mental blocks that really can mess up athletes. Like my one season playing D3 ball at Lewis and Clark, I was amongst incredible athletes who were all head cases. Every last one of them was destroyed by their own nervousness. And it was really mesmerizing. Like, we had a shortstop who I think was a good enough athlete to play professional level shortstop and make it to the major leagues at some point. Like, he was such a phenomenal athlete. But he was constantly questioning himself. He would just, like, screw up. And so basically, he started getting absolutely reefed before games, just smoking so much weed. And he would be so stoned at games that he couldn't think, and he would just swing the bat. And we had a doubleheader where he hit like 6 home runs in 2 games. It's like 6 home runs, and I think 2 of them are grand slams. Got Division III Player of the Week, and he was stoned out of his mind. He had no memory of playing. Like, and that's because he was such a head case, he had to, like, remove that self-doubt from his brain, make it impossible for his brain to even think. He's like, oh, see ball, hit ball, dong, home run, done. It was incredible. And players like that, they need, like, a sports psychologist to just work on, like, why do you have the self-doubt? Like, where in your past was there a shitty coach you had when you were 11 years old who screamed and yelled at you because he was a piece of crap, who never played any higher than when he was 13 himself, but he wants to, like, control little kids and turn you into a head case. And I had plenty of those coaches. Those guys sucked. And I blossomed the most under coaches who were like, you know what, dude, just go play your game. It's a game. Go do it. I trust you to know what you're doing and do your thing. And I'd be like, oh, holy shit. I'm not going to get screamed and yelled at if I strike out. And, oh my God, my game improved so much when I was under those type of coaches. Anyway, here. Watch out, big dog. Watch out, he's stepping over you. Where is it? There we go. This one. So, this is Jamie Moyer's biography. Just tell me I can't. It is a phenomenal dive into sports psychology that I don't think any other sports biography will ever do for you. So, it's fantastic. It is absolutely just a mind-blowing read, and read it if you want. I don't care if you're a baseball player or not. Like, or you care about baseball. You might be someone UK who watches football or whatnot. It's still like the sports psychology aspect of this book is spellbinding, and I really appreciate it. And he's really the first player in baseball to bring that aspect into the game, and then sort of become a mentor for other players and help them work through their own like barriers and stuff. It's amazing. Okay. BBBY, don't burn your money tree. It's not how it works. All right. Where did... Oh, crap. It just like to reset itself again. Always resetting itself, and then I gotta scroll back up. And okay, there's the Lupe comment. There's one telling concrete degrades. Okay, there we are. All right. Bo Jackson was a great guy. He was. Also read Bo Jackson's biography. The Bo Knows Bo. That one's great. We're going to do all sports biographies today. This one came out in the 90s when before Bo broke his hip. Bo Knows Bo. This one, I read this when I was like in 4th grade, and just the feats of strength that Bo Jackson is capable of are like inhuman. They're alien. This dude was such a freak of nature. He was like 12 years old throwing 92-mile-an-hour fastballs in Little League games that the state of Alabama passed a law specifically so Bo Jackson was not allowed to pitch because they were scared he's going to kill someone. Like, you know, his first professional game, he was playing for Memphis while he was still in college, and he had like a 600-foot home run. They like crossed the street and went through a building. Just absolutely crazy feats of strength from this freak of nature. And he just was a machine. I mean, just look at that guy. That dude's a machine. And just the saddest day was when his hip snapped in that tackle when he was running for the Raiders. And just, that was it. That just ruined what would have been probably the single greatest sports career of anybody ever. I was at the Mariners game where he threw out Harold Reynolds at the plate. That probably is my single greatest sports memory, is watching Harold Reynolds get hosed by Bo Jackson throwing a baseball 400 feet in the air and just catcher tagging Harold Reynolds, and Harold being like, what the fuck? Yeah, Bo Jackson was a freak. Absolute freak of nature. The other guy that I think was that was that caliber of athlete was probably Marcus Dupree. And Marcus kind of ruined his own career by signing with that Donald Trump football league instead of the NFL, and then, you know, bounced around and got fat and had to get skinny again. But Marcus Dupree was just a athletic freak as well. And there's some of them that just, you know, they get done in by injury or they get done in by their own drugs and alcohol or whatever. But man, some of those dudes in their prime, just absolute space aliens. And they just, you look at what everyone else is competing against, you're like, how? This dude is like, you get the best players in the world in professional sports league, and this guy is at a caliber that's untouchable compared to the rest of them. Those things are just, man. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, great read. Bo Knows Bo. Okay. Oh, there's Protege's son saying Bo Knows Bo. Yeah, exactly. Okay. HWM's paint skills are okay. Give your brand if you want to go down an interesting rabbit hole. Look into MS Paint artist techniques. Some of those guys are like the Bo Jacksons of MS Paint, and those dudes wig me out. And they're doing like pixel by pixel stuff. Just so freaky. Okay. I am at 2 hours and change here, so we'll probably wrap it up in a second. I'm going to try and get through. Amy R. Houston, thanks for your show. Thank you, Amy R. Okay. BBBY brand announcing a few whistleblower awards is just a little bit of a show and not so much go. Sweeping a clean floor for pay. Yeah. Yeah. Jonathan Tucker, what is this guy's channel all about? Everything, baby. I'll talk about whatever you guys bring up, basically. Houston would be interesting on acid. All right. Bridget's son wants me to watch Billions. People told me to watch Billions. I don't. It's on Stars or Cinemax or one of those other channels. I don't have one of those, so I have to wait until it shows up on a different streaming service at some point. Colin Halligan, I was watching the Bengals Raider game when his hip snapped. Yeah, man, I was watching that game too. Bo Jackson, as far as athletes go, Bo Jackson was my favorite overall athlete. Just absolutely in awe of everything that guy did. Raider Bo, my name is from him. Well, there you go, Raider Bo. Bo Auburn was not fair. I agree. He should have been a professional football player when he was like 16 years old playing in the NFL. He was just a grown man beast as a child. And, yeah, him at Auburn just basically was the entire reason Auburn got national championships. And he carried an entire team. It was incredible. Decider, do you think we would have a small rip with AMC or APE shares this coming week? I have the feeling that they're going to short what they can down, and then that's going to be it. We'll be waiting for that T35 post phase 6 to get some real rips going in AMC. Colin Halligan, I'll throw one at you. It's Houston. APE shares are not in my account. However, I can trade by calling into the broker. Meanwhile, I go to sell via phone and the price drops $50. What happens? Well, no one can trade APE shares because APE shares won't be tradable until Monday. So I think anything that's the price of the APE shares right now is not representative of what the share actually is. So I don't know what the prices mean that people have in some of their accounts. Like, I don't have anything show up in mine yet. Yeah, I don't know what the price will be on Monday at all. BBBY brand, I would not be surprised if it's 2 weeks of sideways or slightly down action, followed by explosion. That's kind of what I'm feeling, is that we'll have probably a couple weeks of it like trading sideways or getting pushed down, and then when the T35s start to come around from when the announcement was made and the stock price went pa-doing, I think a lot of nakeds were sold then, and we'll get a lot of FTDs, and so we'll see some pop at that point. Okay, all right. Well, it's 20 past midnight here. From Monkey Butt and myself and Big Dog on the floor, we're going to say adieu. It was a pleasure talking sports, talking stocks, talking current events, talking everything. And let's all have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Hopefully Monday morning we'll start to get straightened out after a hectic, crappy day today was. And, come up with more weird points on Earth and try to get me to go to Live Africa some more. That sound cool? Anyway, enjoy yourselves. Take care of each other. I'll see y'all later.